All right. Okay, got it. So, welcome back to the podcast with a new name, Feed Your Business with Love. We'd love to welcome back Daria.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Jennifer, for having me. I'm really excited to be here today with you.
We've been having this conversation that has gone on I'm like, can it go on forever? But there's been so much that has happened since the last time that we talked. We had talked and you were getting ready to go into your shaman. Is it a practitioner? I'm like,
Yes.
you can tell how novice I am in this training. I want to know a little bit about like, how was that training and what did it change in your life?
That class was really life-changing. I looked at myself in ways that maybe at the time I didn't really want to, but I really benefited from looking at myself in these ways, and the experience was really powerful. It was probably the most powerful experience of my life. Um, it taught me to just have this really powerful relationship with myself. And I've seen the benefits each and every day after the class and how much it's changed my life.
Yeah. So there was a little bit that we had talked about before, and this pattern that you had been stuck in before this class, and how you were able to break through of this like limiting belief and really blossom on the other side. Can you tell us a little bit about that pattern and how you broke out of your shell and became this new, like you are glowing. Everybody who's listening on the podcast, she is glowing. And I want to know about like where you were and like where you like are now and how I know you have a new cool job too, but we'll get there. I'm too excited.
I have had a lot of limiting beliefs about myself and stories that I would repeat and over in my head, that I don't belong here, because of the way I learned. And I had limiting beliefs about relationships I had with men and the stories I would just tell myself to be a victim and that I couldn't make it. But after going through the class, I really learned how to walk out of that story of playing the victim, or the walking out of the story of being a rescuer, and even a bully. In life, we go through these cycles of either being a bully, victim, or rescuer. And this class really took me off of that triangle and taught me that the only person that I can rescue is myself, and that I don't need to be a victim and I don't need to bully anyone because I'm sick of being the victim. So I really worked on just walking out of those stories in so many ways that I'm so excited to share more about those ways with you, during this podcast.
It is. And like I said, like we've been having this conversation and I'm like, I have all the questions because I know all the juiciness behind this. But as you're like starting to empower yourself, how has that changed your internal love for self? Like that, how are you walking in self-love versus being that victim where that love was being directed outside of you? Like what's that changed?
I think the biggest thing, is knowing that I'm becoming more independent on myself. For such a long time, I depended on happiness outside of myself through men giving me that attention, men giving me that approval, and needing a man to make me happy because I wasn't happy with myself. And for the first time in my life, I have been really taking the time to, not get into relationships with anyone, just really work on that relationship with myself, and to take that time to figure myself out and what is going to make me happy, and really making myself happy. Happy even though I'm not in a relationship, happy, just to be single. Like, I look back at a few years ago, the last time I was single, I was in my 20s, and I thought it was like some sort of death sentence, someone saying you're single, and I would cry and be so upset. And, now I have my moments of crying and breaking down and allowing myself to feel my emotions. but now it's watch me rise, watch me become stronger within inside of myself, watch me do the impossible, which is learn to take care of myself and put my needs first and put the energy into me. And I think that's giving me so much confidence, creating that glow that that you are seeing now versus my other podcast that I did with you.
Yeah, and it's a huge difference to see, and I love watching women blossom. I love that you're willing to come back and share like, "Hey, it was not perfect when I showed up before. I thought I was happy, but I had this belief, this, I think you were describing it like as a web of things that were trapping you that you've been able to move through and let go of through learning a new practice and leaning into, I'm good enough alone. I am powerful alone. And I'm so excited to watch you rise. So I want to ask a little bit about, during this process you found a new position that seems so soul aligned. I want our listeners to know about, like, what are you doing right now?
So I really walked out of that story of the limiting beliefs of, being learning, having different learning styles and not having a job. Appreciate that. I've been doing lots of other things to improve it, with neurofeedback therapy to change, to work on limiting beliefs as well, and to also change my brain functioning in my brain, which I gained from neurofeedback. And so it allowed me to take this new position. I'm an a resident engagement assistant. So I engage in activities with, in senior living homes, and it's just such a rewarding job. The residents fill my heart each and every single day with their beautiful stories they have to share, and their kindness and their empathy and their compassion, just to be so loving in a time where I definitely needed that. I am surrounded in love in a new way, and I'm able to, most importantly, able to give holistic practices, which is huge for me. Within this facility, I do sound bath meditations, for these residents. And today at work, I was able to play my gong, just play my gong, and I think that was really freeing to know that you can find a job that, you get to do your passions. And this job has been such a great asset in my life. And they're also now paying me to take a Tai Chi class so I can learn another modality and offer that to clients, of moving the energy. But it's just been such a rewarding job. And it's something that I worked really, really hard for. I've never been really successful at a regular job before. And I'm just really proud of myself for how strong I've become, and that I can use holistic practices. So I'm just really excited for the future for it.
And I love how it's empowering you and you're actually feeling that energetic exchange of being appreciated and cared about in a different way that you've never been, able to see for yourself before. And it's also allowing you to expand your own practice outside of your job, correct?
Yes. Yes, and that glow, the fulfillment I feel like allows me to, be able to channel into my business. And putting time into myself has also, been very helpful to create this magnificent business, and not putting it into finding another man, really finding myself. And I never really understood what that meant. I always like, yeah, yeah, I love myself. And but I really, really didn't know what that meant. And I don't think a lot of people really truly understand what self-love is. And it's dying, symbolically, of these limiting beliefs that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, that you don't belong here, that you're worthy of abuse from men, and freeing yourself from these beliefs, and, removing yourself from people that are not in alignment with you anymore is huge. And I think a lot of the time, in my other podcast and throughout, the past few years, I was with the wrong person, and, you know, allowing my energy to be taken away from me, and realizing that I am rising when I walked away from the limiting belief that I deserve to be treated really badly in a relationship, a romantic relationship.
And I think you're right. Not a lot of us understand what it is truly to like self love, to love yourself, to be in that walk of life of self love, to rise as self. And I think that's so important. And I love that you were able to recognize that by going through a training that you are going to use for other people, but instead you found yourself. And that's where the magic happens, is when you find yourself. I think I'm like, I'm finding myself right now, and I'm like, yeah, this girl's gonna be awesome, she's killing it. And I see that in you, is like there's this new, like I said, glow, but it's this excitement. It's like you're bringing new excitement to the work that you are bringing to the planet, which is changing so many lives.
And it's truly, truly my mission in life to be just offer space, just be of space for someone just to heal and know that I inspire people to heal their own self. I'm not, sometimes people think healer, it means I heal you, but no, I just help you to help yourself. You heal yourself. You feel that power and you take that journey yourself. And I share that journey with you. I'm right there beside you on this journey and just off being of service to you. Just a place where you can come and just to feel and to let go and release through different modalities of Reiki and shaman practices and sound healing. Just show up and be of service and help you to see your power. That knowing that you have power, not just I don't just have power, or you just don't have power, but each and every person on this planet has power, and to know that they deserve to feel powerful and to feel loved by themselves.
Ooh, mic drop moment right there. They deserve to be pouted. Ugh. Look at my, I can't, like, I can't even say it. You can tell where my energetic blocks are. I can't even like, we deserve to feel empowered and love. I'm like, look, I get all choked up. There's that wonderful throat chakra block of something I need to work on. But I think that statement right there is so powerful, is that each and every human is worthy, does deserve. And I'm so glad that you're taking this time to find yourself, empower yourself, and move forward. So, what does your daily practice look like to keep you in that alignment? Because I know breaking beliefs and these patterns that we've been stuck in and releasing all the stuff, especially like not feeling that you can have all the emotions, can be really tough.
Yeah, it's definitely not freaking pretty. Like healing is not always sunshine and roses. It's definitely, it takes courage. Courage is not, doesn't take, being courageous is a practice that it's not easy to obtain. It's something that you really have to go through something deep to become courageous and brave. And it's a brave act to look at yourself and to take yourself out of these stories. But what I'm doing for myself during this time of transition, I was with someone for a very long time, and that relationship was very abusive. And I tried to rescue and save it. But I'm working on rescuing myself through, doing neurofeedback, which is, changing brain waves in my brain to reprogram my brain to do different brain functioning to calm my anxiety or to calm depression. I do that twice a week. I do therapy twice a week. I also meditate before I go to work, and I'm getting into a practice now of twice a day, before morning and nighttime, of meditation. And after I get out of the shower, when I'm putting on my I have body oil instead of instead of lotion that I put on. And I look at myself and say affirmations of setting boundaries, to self-love, to power affirmations every day for myself. And in the car, I say this prayer, this shaman prayer that I say to help for good luck at work, that I do. And really taking the time to tap into shamanic practices of ceremony, of um, putting using my crystals, and doing ceremony with that, sitting by my fire, taking Epsom salt baths, and doing a lot of energetical cleanses has really helped me during this time. And also allowing myself to cry, allowing myself just to be angry, just be mad, and that's okay. And how to channel that anger and transmute that anger into something powerful and to help people in their lives. But also be vulnerable and cry, and then laugh and have a good time. Just really feeling all of my emotions right now has been helpful.
Yeah, I started feeling emotions last year. I finally allowed myself to have, I was always a crier, but that anger piece. I never realized how powerful tapping into your anger can really be. Like, it's okay to be super angry. And if you allow yourself to feel that anger, there's so many mirrored back things, is the only way that I can explain it. It's like, I'm this angry, but what's mirroring back at me? And I love that you're bringing, talking about like, embracing all of these emotions, not just the pretty sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. Let's talk about all of the emotions, and this, from the high highs to the shitstorm lows, like all of
Yep.
them.
Yeah, yeah, my teacher, my shaman teacher was so great. She's like, don't put a cherry on top, don't put a puppy on it. Like, it is what it is. And, just allowing yourself, it's okay to be angry, knowing how to contain yourself. We don't want to like harm anybody when we're angry, but it's okay to sit and be angry and know what to do with it. And I think our society tells us it's bad, or we're just going to blow up a building if we're that angry. But you know, once you know how to harness that power of the anger and to understand what it's showing you, a boundary might be being like your boundaries might be crossed, or you might need to stand up for yourself. And there's so much power that comes when standing up for yourself and putting your foot down in a boundary and feeling angry and putting that boundary down and respecting yourself, and teaching others how to respect you from that anger.
Yes. And like, you keep bringing up like my least favorite yet favorite word, which is those boundaries. It's like the hardest. It's the hardest
Yes.
thing, and I don't know if it's just because of who I am, because I want, like you, I want to help everybody. I'm the fixer. I'm the saver. And it's exhausting. When you start to put up boundaries, it's like, uh-oh, I'm going to be not liked. I'm going to be not worthy of the existence if I don't help everybody. And I think it's really cool how you're like taking these boundaries and empowering yourself with them.
Yeah, because I realized I wanted to help the person that I was with. I wanted to help him grow and to learn, and but I'm not teaching him anything by allowing him to treat me badly. I had to put that boundary and walk away. And sometimes it's not fun or pretty, and you just want to, that person to change, or, but they're not going to. And the person that you have to think about in that moment is yourself. Like, am I being disrespected right now? How can I put a boundary up? And like, how do I respect me? Like, how do I respect myself? Or sometimes, I love to help a lot of people too, and we can only help people that really want to help themselves, and I can't help everybody. And that's something that was really, really hard for me to do, because I have a huge heart and I want to help, and I want to help and give, but I know that I can't help everyone, and I can't do it for somebody. I can't make the horse drink the water from the trough. I can lead the horse to the trough, but I can't make the horse drink the water, which is a very hard thing to come to terms with sometimes.
Very, very hard. Because yeah, I just, and I love that as you're putting up these boundaries, you're refinding yourself. It really seems to be re-inspiring that fire inside to bring all of this to the world, to those people that actually want help. And I think that that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just this mission I've always had such a strong sense for since I was a little kid, and it took me a while to understand it and to come and master it. But I feel like this point in my life, I'm just in this amazing new energy and light of who I am truly as, a powerful being, and my mission and helping this planet to make a difference, be a voice, be more than just a pretty face, someone that is educated and smart and can be inspiring to women or even to men, that women are more capable than just being sex objects. We're smart and we're powerful, and we're inspiring. And not to mention, like I was telling you before, shamans were women. The first shamans were women.
That is, again, that to me is like so crazy. I want to know more about, like, because maybe some of my listeners don't understand, like, what is a shaman and how do they assist in your life?
So a shaman is someone. I call myself a shamanic practitioner. I like to reserve that I've only had, a couple months of training. I know real shamans have intensive practices and they were born into that. Um, I think maybe in a past life I was a shaman, but I want to honor and reserve that for, the indigenous cultures. But it's a practice of learning indigenous beliefs. I studied Peruvian shamanism, and I can hold things up too. So in Peruvian shamanism, we have what we call mesas. So I'm a medicine carrier, and the medicine carrier is like the medicine wheel of learning the death and rebirth cycle, of life, and throughout life and we go through death and rebirth in so many ways, whether you physically die and you're physically born to symbolically dying and symbolically being reborn. It's that process. And the work of a shaman is really tapping into the power of earth, learning how to have a better relationship with staying grounded. A lot of times spiritual practices kind of focus on up here and not on the physical plane. And the physical plane is so important because we are here, we are human, and how to be a human, how to be an effective human, but also spiritual. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So we have a better relationship with the earth, doing ceremonies and taking off our shoes and getting on the earth, and shaking our rattles. But also shaman practices also tap into past lives, and bringing awareness to your past life and how it affected you, in your auric fields. You can have things in your auric fields that might need to be extracted, that are blocking you from growing in this life, that occurred symbolically in this life or actually happened in a past life. And also works of a shaman, we do soul retrievals, bringing back the soul bits into our body, through if we went through a lot of trauma. It brings the soul back into the body, so your heart is more whole, and it's a beautiful practice. And there's also a practice that I'm still working on perfecting, but it's called the death spiral, and the death and rebirth symbolically of the old beliefs. So that is what the shamans, or what I studied, what it offers to people.
That is so much. I mean, there's so much like there's so much like in my heart that wants to come out. Like I'm like I don't even know where the question is in my head. I'm like, oh, I need all of that in my life. Is this, but this concept of like the death and rebirth. I am like it like light lit up every little neuron in my brain. Like yes, it is a death. It's something that we again. It's another one of those words like anger that we associate with something negative, like a death. But it is that next level. It takes you to that next level. It's a death to rebirth to something else. And we always, like, oftentimes, especially in society these days, we never talk about the next step, right? We always talk about the death. It's an end. It's an end of a relationship. It's an end of our human life, an experience. It's the end of something. But it's also the beginning of something better most of the time.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Yes, girl, yes. That is definitely very, very what I resonate with. Like we have this thing with death and we fear death, but death is also a beautiful, and death is only the beginning. And I believe in the next life that we live, and we just keep, again, death and rebirth throughout time and space. We keep coming back to learn how to fall in love with ourselves, what love is, and how to give love to others. We learn that through our own lives and, through the mass collective and all the shifts that are happening in the world right now. It's really about love and coming into a higher state of consciousness of love.
Yes, it all comes back to love, which is why we're so aligned with one another. And I'm like, one of us needs to come to the other coast because I
Oh,
feel like
yes.
together some magic would like in person, some magic would seriously happen.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to do some sort of healing, something with you. That would be so amazing. And I think we're definitely aligned in our missions. And um, yeah, I definitely, I'm like, girl,
Right?
come to Connecticut. I would love to see you in person.
Yeah, I just need to get on a plane. I just need to do it. Rent a car, get on a plane, do the whole East Coast tour.
That would be awesome.
So, if people wanted to get into your space, where can they find you? Because I know you have many things that you offer sound healings and different other kinds of like Reiki healings. And I'm sure there's other things that I'm forgetting right now. But where can people find you?
Okay, well, they can find me. I do a lot of stuff online. They can find me online. I think the best way, as of right now, I am my website is under construction. So so the best way to find me is through my Facebook business page, Enchanted Flower Healing, on Facebook. I'm also Daria Ann on Facebook, and you can add my business, and I have my services. And you can find that I do shamanic Reiki. I can do that virtually or in person. But for people who are distance is an issue, I do through Zoom. But you can find all that information on my Facebook business page. And very soon I will have my website back up where you can book sessions. And but message me if you are interested. Message my business page, and I would love to work with you.
I will get all your information in the show notes because, again, I love that you are creating the space for the death and the rebirth. Because the more women that, allow the things to die in their lives that aren't serving them to rebirth this new thing, like you said, women are so powerful. We're going to the next level. We're going to be the next, we're going to be the big change makers. I truly believe in the world once we step into our power.
Yeah, I think it's women on the rise with spirituality that's really making the shifts in the world. And it's time. I would love to inspire more men as well to step into this power. We need more men on board here. Because when men make that shift, we're going to see big changes once men can tap into something more feminine, that feminine energy that they are denying that they have. So I would love to inspire men as well to tap into this of
Yeah.
power in a different way, of vulnerability and healing and
Yeah.
psychic ability.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I can like now that you said that, I'm like, yeah, if everybody on the planet could tap into that divine masculine and that divine feminine, and for those of you that are listening that don't understand, we're not talking about your gender. We're talking about the energetics of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. If we could have a planet full of people that have tapped into that, holy smokes, it'd be an entirely different world we lived in.
100%. We are very, very powerful humans. We are very intelligent, and it's time we see how intelligent we are and not live in the barbaric times, especially men.
So if someone were to walk away and only take like one little nugget from this interview, what would you want them to remember?
I would want them to remember how powerful they are and and to see themselves in a completely different way than you've never seen yourself before, and know that you can achieve that, and know you can rise and be stronger within inside yourself.